Hey chicklets, how are you? Happy Thursday. I wanted to pop in live today and chat with you a little bit like we do every week. But this week I had some fun stuff to chat with you about. However, I want to start off by saying that I know that with the changes that Facebook has been making lately, that a lot of us are really concerned and very on edge, I suppose. So I want to make sure that we very quickly say that everything, hi Meredith, that everything that is going on and everything that is kind of changing and going differently is not a reason to panic. And that we are all going to work this out together. So if you are concerned about the changes that Facebook is making right now, shoot your team leaders a message for sure. Shoot us a message if you feel like you can't reach your team leader, whatever. Or if you just need, kind of a second opinion on something, feel free to reach out to Meredith and Tiffany and I if we're not your team leaders. And we can help you kind of brainstorm whatever you're concerned about. That being said, there are there's a lot of information coming out, and so it can be kind of tricky right now getting through that with everything that's going on. Dusty, our big director, did a great live video yesterday that if you haven't seen, I encourage you guys to go back and watch about the changes that Facebook is making and kind of some quick tips and tricks on how we can work through those. But I want to say this very loud and very clear so that you guys understand. Change is inevitable. It is going to come. It's going to happen. And so it was only a matter of time before something like this kind of came and shook things up a little bit. And it is important in this business, if we want to grow and stay with it for a while, that we are adaptable to that change. And so, like I said, look back at what Dusty said yesterday and Rise in her video. And yes, definitely watch Dusty's live. And then if you have any questions after that, or if you're still concerned after that, you can comment here, you can reach out to us, and we can help you through that. But like I said, it is very important to make sure that we are adapting to change and ready for it, because it helps us to grow and push ourselves. Now that I've gotten past all of the, hey Aaron, past all of the kind of bookkeeping, not so fun stuff, I want to make sure that we're jumping in. Yes, the group ideas that Dusty mentioned were great. And we can help you brainstorm with even more things if those, are scary or different or something that you're not ready for. So now I want to get to the fun stuff. Yes, roll with the punches. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments. So in my description for the live, I said that today I want to talk about the thief of joy. And if you guys are not aware of that quote, that is one of my favorite quotes, that comparison is the thief of joy. I know that as we go through different seasons in our lives, as we go through different seasons in Usborne, as we go through different seasons of growing, there are plenty of ways to allow yourself to compare yourself to others. So outside of Usborne, I'm going to tell you a quick story that is not business related at all, so that you can kind of see a little tidbit. Okay, so when I was in high school, I was super peppy and I know that that's hard to believe, but I was voted Miss School Spirit 4 years in a row. I never missed a football game. I was I was on student council, cheerleader, all of that. But I always felt like because of my home life, because I didn't live in the fancy houses on one side of town, I lived on the other side of town in a 3-bedroom apartment with my 4 siblings and my parents, that I was not cool. And because I was constantly chasing after the quarterback who paid no attention to me until after high school, that I was not cool, and that I was not, I spent a lot of time, as a lot of high schoolers do, trying to be somebody else. I wanted to be the cool girl. I wanted to be the most popular. I wanted people to want to ask me on dates instead of me chasing them and asking them on dates, which I realized after I got older was not how you get dates. But I was constantly kind of spinning my wheels, trying to figure out what I could do to get people to notice me, to be the most popular, to be the coolest, to be just like the super popular girl, right? So in my head, there was a handful of people that I wanted to be just like. So for this example, I will tell you about my friend Julie, who is now my friend, who in high school I thought was just the coolest thing ever. And all the guys wanted to date Julie, and all the girls wanted to be friends with Julie, and not a mean girl situation. She's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. But Julie was cool. Julie was cool. You wanted to go to her parties. You wanted to be part of her squad. You wanted to hang out with her. You wanted her to want to talk to you between classes, that kind of thing. Well, fast forward like 5 years after high school, and we were on Facebook, and Facebook was just kind of a new thing. We were all kind of connecting. We were connecting on MySpace before that, if you're old enough to remember MySpace and to have used MySpace. But anyway, so Julie was having a baby. And I reached out to her and said, "That's so exciting." And she said, "We should have coffee." And I thought, me? You want to have coffee with me? And I was still in that place where it was really cool to get to be friends with Julie. And we went and had lunch and ended up at lunch for 3 hours. And over that time, we chatted about how each one of us, the entire time we were in high school, wanted to be like each other. I told her that I had always wanted to be friends, better friends. We were surface friends in high school because we cheerleaded together, but we were not best buddies. I didn't go to her sleepovers and things like that. And she said, "I always thought that you were too cool to invite to my house." And I thought, I always thought you were too cool to invite to my house. And we had spent all of this time trying to be like the other person and trying to like the other person, that we were missing out on how awesome we actually were. I missed that I was so cool that Julie, who I thought was so cool, didn't think that she was cool enough to hang out with me. I missed that. I missed out on that. I missed out on realizing that I'm a pretty cool chick all by myself. And I feel like as we grow and as we take on new things and as we kind of move past and move into different avenues in our life, everywhere we go, there's going to be an opportunity to compare ourselves to other people. So some of you are friends with Dusty. Some of you are not yet. But if you look every month, Dusty will post who her top 10 leaders are for that month. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. There are a few months in a row that our fabulous team leaders, Meredith and Tiffany, were on that list. And I thought that, my first thought was, Those are my friends. I know those people. I know those girls. They're cool. And I'm friends with them. And then that little joy thief on my shoulder popped in and said, why aren't you on that list? Why aren't you cool? Why aren't you in the top 10? And it hits hard, doesn't it? When you compare yourself to other people, it smacks you right upside the head and knocks you over sometimes. And that's not to say that comparison is all bad. And I'm going to tell you how you can make sure that it's not bad, okay? Because in those moments, it can be really hard. Love you, Meredith. Yeah, we talked about this beforehand, so she knew I was going to bring this up. But it can be really hard in those moments to not compare yourself, to not see that someone else is succeeding in a way that you are not. However, when you take that time to compare yourself and let it rob you of remembering just how awesome you are and just what amazing things you bring, you're gonna really mess with yourself. So I have to say that there are ways that comparison can be good and there are ways that comparison can be bad. So when you compare yourself to someone else, and you go, why can't I be like XYZ? That is a bad way of comparing yourself to somebody. However, when you look at something that you admire in another person, like when I went to convention and became friends with Tiffany, I admired that she was able to recruit people so easily and without feeling pushy and without feeling awkward. It just came naturally to her. When I went to convention last year, I had recruited a total of 2 people the entire 9 months I had been with the company. And neither of them did anything. And neither of them are still selling. And I was so bummed. And I thought, I want to be a good recruiter like this chick over here, Tiffany, who, by the way, at convention I had never met before. And I thought, if I want to get better, if I want to lead like that, then what can I learn from them, right? So if you see something that you admire in another person that you feel like you are lacking in, reach out to them and find out how you can grow. If you take that comparison and let it steal your joy, you will not ever succeed. If you let it steal your joy, you will not ever get to that place where they are. And if you put them on a pedestal, you will never be able to climb upon it. Let me say that again. If you put people on a pedestal, you will never be able to climb into the place where they are. That is a lesson I have learned over and over and over and over. It is okay to admire people. It's okay. It's great. But if you don't learn from them, if you don't learn from the things that you admire about them, if you don't push yourself, like Tiffany said last week in her live, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. If you don't push yourself to learn from the things that you admire about those people, then you will always stay here while you keep them up here. If you want to be at the same level, which is what admiration does, right? When you admire somebody, it's because there is something about them that you want to be like. If you want to get to that place, then you have to find a way to push yourself. So if you see something in another person that you admire, find a way to make it happen. And if it's somebody that you can't reach out to, then Google it. We live in an amazing place and an amazing time where if you feel like you can't reach out to somebody, which, by the way, if any of the people that you were thinking of right now while you were thinking about admiring people are people in this group, they are accessible to you. Reach out to them right now. And if those people are, I will list a few of mine, Oprah or Britney Spears, maybe don't try to contact them, okay? Maybe just like write them a letter for pretend and don't send those. But if those people are people in our company even, if you see these amazing leaders doing amazing things, reach out to them. Tell them that you think they're amazing. And then say, what did you learn? Where did you learn this? Or can you point me in a direction if you feel like you are going to be bothering them, which I promise you're not. When you give someone a genuine compliment, I promise they are hardly ever bothered by that information. But if you reach out to somebody and just say, can you point me in the direction of where you have gotten your XYZ? Can you point me in the direction of where I can learn more about how to be a recruiting rock star like you? Or how to sell $50,000 in a year like you, Meredith Harrison, I'm talking to you. Or if you say, I wish that I could not look like a crazy person when I go live in my parties, even though my kids are eating Play-Doh with a fork in the background like Angela. That's me. That's me. I go live and I don't look like a crazy person, but then I turn around and my kids have eaten Play-Doh with a fork. Yeah, it happens. It's for real. That is real life. Then reach out to those people and ask them where they learned what they learned, how they know what they know, how did they get to where they got, and then tuck away where you feel like you won't ever get there. Because if you want to get there, if you want to put yourself in the same place that they are, you will. You will get there. If you believe that you can be just as cool or just as successful or just as skinny or just as whatever, insert whatever you feel like you are lacking in. And by the way, you're not. You're not lacking. But I'll get to that in a second. Then find a way to make it happen. If you want to be in that place, make it happen. Write down the things that you feel like you need. Write down the things that you admire in other people. If you sit down right now and you think of the person that you admire the most in this company, in your life, in motherhood, in, I don't know, in Texas, whatever the thing is, and you sit down and you make a list of the things that you admire about those people, the things that you wish you could do like those people. Write them down and then find a way to make them happen. I will tell you, one of my very best friends, we were next door neighbors when we were 10 years old. We've known each other since we were 10 years old. We are wildly different people. Wildly different. I love her with all my heart. Okay, my friend Chelsea. She homeschools her, she homeschools her 3 children. She just had her 4th baby. Her 4th baby is not even 3 weeks old yet. And she messaged me today to tell me that, to ask me if I could get her some more phonics books for her oldest because they're popping back into their homeschool schedule. That is bananas to me. That is bananas. So when I said, I admire how amazing you are at your schedule, how amazing you are at having a system. And I said, how do you do it? and she sent me a message with her Pinterest information about how I could help her, or she could help me get on a schedule, because y'all, I'm not great at that. So I admire those things about her. I said, I need help. This is what I admire in you. Like I said, it doesn't have to be somebody you've never met before. It can be somebody you've known your whole life. They may have something that you admire that you can say, sorry, Erin, you can check the rest out later. But you can message them and say, and like I said, I promise you, when you start with, I so admire blank, I promise you, it doesn't matter who it is. That person is going to find a way to give you information and to help you. When you start with a genuine compliment, like, I so admire the way that you can schedule, and y'all, she homeschools her 3 kids and her oldest is 6 years old. So it's not even like they're all spread out and they can self-manage. Okay? So when I said, I admire the way that your kids are so on it, how do you do that? The first thing they feel is, wow, somebody noticed. And then they will help you. They will help you succeed. They will help you get to that place. Now, I promised that I would talk to you about when you feel like you are lacking. And I want to stretch you. I didn't realize that Tiffany and I were both going to kind of talk about making you uncomfortable, but I think that it's important. Maybe April is, about being uncomfortable, but when you are in a place where you feel like you are lacking, I want to encourage you to remember that you're just not there yet. You are not lacking anything. Anything. If there is something that you feel like you are missing, if there is something that you feel like you don't have yet, you don't have a big team yet, you're not hitting HOC 2 yet, you're not, which, let me tell you a little secret. I've been with this company for 18 months. I've never hit HOC 2. I will admit that to you up front, right here, very transparent. I have either had the sales and no recruits, or had the recruits and not the sales. But it's never happened. It's going to happen this month, you guys. I'm so close. But if you feel like you are in a place where something is missing, remind yourself that you're just not there yet. That you can get to that place. When you get to that place where you feel like the comparison monster is just smacking you upside the head, I want you to take a minute. Do it. Like, I will shake you through the computer. Take a minute and remember the amazing things that you have to offer. The amazing things that you bring to the table. Maybe you can take 5 ingredients and make an entire meal out of it. Maybe that is your amazing thing. Maybe you can get your kids to actually be quiet at church. Maybe that is your amazing thing. If it is, contact me. We need to talk because I need some help. Maybe your amazing thing is that you go to sleep every night and your house is clean. Again, if you're that person, please call me. But if you ever feel like you are lacking something, take a second, look at yourself in the mirror and say, stop it. You are amazing. I've done this multiple times where I have made people message me and say into their voice recorder in Messenger, I am amazing. And I make them say it over and over and over until it sounds like they actually believe themselves. If you are one of those people, I will make you do it. Send me a message. I will make you remind yourself of how great you are. And if this happens frequently, if you compare yourself frequently, if you find yourself in a place where you feel lacking regularly, I want you to, I just threw it by accident, y'all. Sorry. This and things like it are great ways to remind yourself that you are amazing. Oh, totally just turned to a random one, but this one's good. Okay. We have nothing to fear as long as we believe. Right? Let's see. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. So, and I will put the link. I got this on Amazon for $3.99, you guys, and it is worth every penny, okay? It is a book, Caitlin. It is a book. It's called You Are Doing a Freaking Great Job. So even if you don't open it, you can remind yourself that you, yourself, not comparing to other people, you are awesome, okay? And I literally, if I'm having a bad day, I can flip to any page. You look nice today. Right. I do look nice today. Oh, this one. You are in charge of your own happiness. That is the truth. So if you have those minutes where, or days, where you find yourself not feeling like you are amazing, remember, you are doing a freaking great job. You are fabulous all by yourself. You are. If you need a reminder, come talk to me. I will tell you, you are amazing. And I will help you find the ways, the unique things that you bring to the table. And I will help you brainstorm ways to get to the place where you feel like you're lacking, so that that pedestal is just a step, okay? Stop putting people on pedestals, okay? Put that person that you admire, let that be a step that you can attain. Tell yourself that you can do it, and you will. Happy Thursday, Chicklets. Have a wonderful weekend. Love you guys.